This is an RNZ podcast.
Appliances, household items, clothes, we've got a lot of stuff, and when it gets damaged, that's a cost. We either fix it or get a new one.
It would be good to know that you could do it yourself, so it saves you money.
So you look up a YouTube video, how do you disassemble the whole thing?
A lot of us get someone else to repair things.
If it's an appliance, I'd actually phone the proper person to fix it.
But could we give it a go ourselves?
I attempt to repair some things, like my dryer or my washing machine. It had a leak and I repaired that myself.
There's plenty of videos on the internet on how to service just about anything.
Kia ora, I'm Katy Gosset and welcome to Thrift. The playwright Eugene O'Neill once said, "Man is born broken. He lives by mending." Well, in this set we'll be talking about broken things rather than people. But even as we try to mend stuff, as we'll find out, there's also a bit of personal development along the way. And of course the main benefits are we save things from going to the landfill and save our pennies at the same time. And who better to tell me more than the team at a repair cafe? It's a weekday evening in Christchurch, still wintry and brisk and quiet in the suburb of Richmond. I'm just wending my way down a garden path to the monthly cafe catch-up. But as I arrive, this little building is pumping. It's filled with people. There are workstations set up everywhere. And every so often, someone rings a bell, which is kind of intriguing. More on what that means later on. But what is a repair cafe? Well, there are no waiters and no flat whites, although some nice volunteers may offer you soup. And most importantly, they'll help you to fix your broken stuff.
A thing that I really love about this is that people come in thinking, I don't have the skills to help. And then someone teaches them how to darn or hand sew, and all of a sudden they're able to help.
So that's Zach Imhoff, who played a key role in setting up this particular group.
I started the repair revolution a while ago. It's kind of been sustaining itself.
First up, it's pretty cool to be able to say that you helped start a revolution. Although actually it's revolution, because it's based at the Richmond Community Garden by the Avon River, or Takaro. And it's handy to the Revolution Eco Hub, which is home to lots of other community initiatives.
Workshops, events, recycling. So this just really fit in with the ethos of what this place is. It's a hub for community resilience.
Repair Revolution is one of more than 75 repair cafes around the country. They come under the umbrella of the repair network Aotearoa New Zealand, and we'll meet the network's founder in a bit. But first, a wee look around.
You kind of have to walk through the whole process, I think, to appreciate it. So yeah, here's the people on the sewing machines.
So you can bring damaged or ripped clothing to be repaired. This particular repair cafe doesn't fix larger whiteware, but they do handle smaller electronics, which are divided into two categories.
240 volt, so anything that plugs into the mains.
And 12-volt items.
We call them more gadgets. It's iPhones, tablets, computers.
And the more he sees these broken down products, the more it brings him round to thinking about tip one.
If you can, buy good the first time.
That means reading product reviews before you buy. Well, some of us do that already.
I tend to always buy decent quality appliance and do a fair amount of research on it.
I check reviews and so on online before I would buy an appliance so that I'm hopefully buying something that's good in the first place.
Zach recommends Consumer NZ, but he also suggests checking out websites like iFixit.
I bought some Bluetooth headphones recently and I looked on iFixit at repair videos and their opinions on the different Bluetooth headphones.
This gave him a steer on how difficult they would be to fix.
They basically said that most of them were a really difficult task to separate all of the components and get a new battery.
He chose a product that had a full breakdown on how it could be repaired. There are also websites offering specific repair kits with the right tools and parts for different appliances. Zach encourages people to know their makes and models and take advantage of the online resources, including good old YouTube.
Everything has been put into a video.
One of the problems consumers face is plastic products that can't be accessed internally and break really easily. Repair cafes will still work on them, but
They're hard to fix and they often aren't worth it.
if you are dealing with broken parts, Zach's home hack is to use super glue sprinkled with a bit of baking soda to quickly bind parts together. But it can give off fumes, so make sure you do it in a well-ventilated area. Now, I'm sure we've all heard someone older than us say, "In my day, things were meant to last." And they did.
Often things made in the 90s or earlier are of better quality when it comes to rigidity or to being able to deal with getting battered around in life.
And op shops are usually his first port of call.
And you find things that were made to be disassembled. So I kind of surround myself with old things, unfortunately, but things that were designed to be opened up and maintained and looked after.
Even his tools are old.
They're just that much better. Just quality. Trying to find things of quality.
And of course, buying at op shops is a way of keeping costs down.
It doesn't mean spending a lot of money, it just means looking at what you've got around you, and if you're surrounding yourself with cheap plastic stuff, it's going to break and it's probably not going to be repairable. Buying quality the first time means that when you repair it, things actually stick, things work.
And speaking of old, enduring appliances,
We've got this, what I'm pretty sure is a 1970s vacuum cleaner, given that it's orange and brown.
that's Alan Leafting.
So I managed to take it apart. I pride myself on taking most things apart.
By day, he runs his own company, but by night, once a month at the Repair Cafe, he enjoys working as a technician.
I love repairing things. It's like being a detective, isn't it? You find the clues and the scene of the crime and solve the problem.
And given the energy required to create products,
With climate change, we really should be repairing things rather than throwing them out.
Alan says the success rate varies. Some months he can fix 25% of the broken items, some months up to 80%, but a lack of spare parts can be a problem. So what's it going to be tonight? In the corner, waiting anxiously, is the owner, Glenda Bills. She confirms that her vacuum cleaner is indeed between 30 and 40 years old, and she's pretty reluctant to chuck it out.
The last conversation I had with a friend about it was, just buy a new one. And I just don't like that attitude. I think that things should last.
If I had an orange and brown retro vacuum cleaner, I'd want to hang on to it too. We'll come back and check on their progress in a bit. As we look around, I keep hearing that random bell ringing.
Every time something gets fixed, we ring the bell and it's just kind of like a little bit of a celebratory moment.
It's celebrating the fact that someone won't have to pay for an expensive new product, and it's a reminder of what the Repair Cafe is trying to achieve.
Otherwise you might forget that 5 pairs of jeans have been fixed or an old Kenwood mixer has been returned back to its owner.
And there's often a bell ringing at the sewing station. Now, sewing is one of those areas where most of us are prepared to have a go.
I'm definitely a fixer-upper of clothing.
I have done basic little sewing jobs before.
And yet the sewing station here still does a roaring trade.
Sewing is what we get the most volume of.
There's a real depth of skill here, and that brings us to tip 2 from Zach. When you need to get a repair done, ask around. It sounds simple, right? But help may be closer at hand than you think. Zach reckons there is great knowledge in the community, particularly among the older generation.
I think a lot of the time grandparents have a lot of knowledge to share and they want to be asked. They're good with these kinds of things. Most grandmas know how to sew, whether it be by hand or machine.
Anne-Marie Rose is the perfect example of this.
Well, I'm a volunteer sewer. I do pinning or unpicking or whatever's needed.
She first came here to the Repair Cafe because she had a broken hedge trimmer.
I don't like planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence is the concept of designing products that will break quickly or have a limited lifespan so that people then go and buy new products.
So I pay to get things repaired, and then when I found out about coming here, I was delighted to find that I don't have to pay.
Then she decided to stick around and share her own knowledge.
I love the energy here, the friendliness of it and the ringing the bell when something was repaired.
The reason for that energy and why the bell rings a lot is because the Repair Cafe has reached out to different people, recognising their skills and asking for help from the hosts.
So when people walk in the door, they greet them, they filter which people go where and just make it easier for the technicians to maximise their energy.
To the people who bring round cups of tea and soup.
It's not just about the utilitarian fixing of things, it's about people feeling welcome and wanting to come back.
And then to Zach himself, who plays his own skills down, but has brought considerable energy and his own knowledge of product design.
I guess my role is facilitator. I'm bouncing around, finding materials, welcoming people, just going all the time. I guess I was kind of like a good middle person in getting this going.
And it makes for a great melting pot.
We've got a diversity of ages and jobs and backgrounds, and so we have these really beautiful dynamics.
The concept started in Amsterdam in 2009. It's thought there are now more than 2,500 repair cafes worldwide. New Zealand's first repair cafe was established in 2013. Brigitte Sistig is the co-founder of Repair Cafe Aotearoa New Zealand and also founder of its umbrella organisation, the Repair Network Aotearoa Trust. She says the movement encompasses the grassroots work done by the cafes, as well as advocacy for products that can be repaired and for better access to tools and manuals. Many of the repair cafes around the motu get waste minimisation funding from their local councils. But even as the infrastructure around the repair cafes grows, there's still a really important place for personal development and personal responsibility of consumers. Yes, that's us. So tip 3, and this time from Brigitte, is about what we can do to upskill.
A lot of the products that are brought to repair cafes are actually basically dirty or not looked after, so they need to just have a clean.
So the cafe volunteers spend some time teaching people how to better maintain their products.
So they actually last longer and break down less.
One of the aims of Repair Cafe is that the person who brings in something broken sits with the fixer and learns what's wrong and maybe how to fix it next time.
So they also learn about product design and planned obsolescence, which hopefully leads to behaviour change and future better product choice.
The network also runs an annual festival with events and workshops.
For example, we have a registered electrician who explains to people, how to look after your items and what is safe to repair at home and what not.
There are also workshops on mending clothes.
How to sew on a button. We're now doing this also in schools with corporate, just to reintroduce basic mending skills.
The cafes all keep data on what's been repaired so they can show what they've saved from the landfill. And back at Repair Revolution, it looks like another item is being added to the database. I was about to go check out progress on Glenda's vacuum cleaner when... Hang on, is that a bell I hear?
Well done. The bell tolls for you that you've succeeded.
Yes, a nice straightforward repair.
Just a couple of loose screws and the cord retraction assembly, which have now been tightened.
And the vacuum cleaner is alive.
How does it feel each time you are successful?
Oh, it's satisfying. It's another item that's not going to landfill.
And it saved Glenda the cost of a new vacuum cleaner.
I'm ecstatic. It's brilliant. I'm really happy. And now I can finally have a clean carpet.
Another satisfied customer at the Repair Cafe. So, a bit of a recap. Whilst it's great to have a service where volunteers help us out, we can do a lot for ourselves by buying well to start with, understanding good product design and researching models with good track records that we know can actually be repaired. Check out op shops for older quality products and clothing and make sure you clean and maintain them well. There are workshops available to learn more about repairing things and ask around. Chances are there are already people in your life with skills they'd love to pass on. If you do take something to a repair cafe, watch how it's fixed and ask questions. Maybe next time a problem crops up, you can fix it yourself. Next time on Thrift, what money-saving tips can we learn from New Zealand's diverse cultures? In a special crossover episode with RNZ's Here Now, I join a cooking class at the Canterbury Refugee Resettlement and Resource Centre. To check out that ep and others, make sure you follow us on your favourite podcast app. Special thanks to my guests in this episode, Zach, Brigitte, Alan, Glenda and Anne-Marie. This podcast was produced and presented by me, Katy Gosset. It was mixed by Alex Harmer, and Tim Watkin is the executive producer of podcasts and series. If you have a tip to share, you can email us at thrift@rnz.co.nz. Thanks for listening. Ka kite.